no, that's too obvious.
Fire!
Alright, fuck this. You guys get Kirby music. Hello and welcome to Dead Space 2 Weapon Review. First and foremost, some ground rules. All the guns are going to be played in Zealot, because real men play Zealot. And the flamethrower, as you can see here, takes a while to kill your enemies. You have to slowly puff them to death with the flamethrower, keeping them at bay. On the plus side though, the flamethrower, the secondary fire launches a grenade, does hardly any damage to you at all. So, hey, feel free to kamikaze all you want. Next, you'll notice that the grenade launcher on the flamethrower can quickly be reloaded with the simple glitch of firing and then letting go. This is much faster than trying to manually reload the gun, which is tedious. Although it's very sexy. Oh yeah. You reload that gun like a boss, Clark. While going against multiple enemies, you'll notice that the damage on the flamethrower is not very well known. However, good timing of puffs in between is really helpful. Not to mention, you can give them a good smack after you're done. The flamethrower really excels at killing lesser enemies, such as babies, lurkers, slashers, or even the pack. Just take note that this gun is not a panic weapon. The least you should do is panic with this thing, or else you'll end up like moments like this. In general, the flamethrower is a pretty good all-around weapon, minus the reload on it. In terms of difficulty, the flamethrower is real easy. You can probably breeze through the first few levels of Dead Space without any problems with this gun. However, there are some slight drawbacks with the flamethrower. You have to aim slightly upward to hit your target, and you have to make sure the gas canister on the secondary fire hits as well, or it will just roll around. Not to mention, some enemies aren't fond of it. For example, the black necromorph puker, which you play a very dangerous game trying to kill him. It takes a while to kill them, but you're just as vulnerable as they are at this distance. Black necromorph slashers are kind of a hit and miss. Sometimes they'll kill over and die, and other times they'll come madly dashing at you. In my opinion, it's probably best if you pull out another weapon going against these guys. Another necromorph that doesn't take the flamethrower lightly is the Leaper. He has a ridiculous tolerance rate for it. And quite possibly the worst necromorph to go against with the flamethrower has got to be the Stalkers. Stalkers will just absolutely laugh at you for even using this gun, and when it does work, it's way too close to count. If I were you, I would just avoid using this gun against them at all costs. However, if there's a stasis regenerator, feel free to use it. Another enemy I highly recommend you don't use it against is the Guardians. I mean, they take a ridiculous amount of damage to kill. It's not even fair. I mean, how many gas cannons have got to use to kill this guy? Look at this. Why won't you just die? Seriously. You took 2 to the chest now. You should be dead. You know what? I'm getting really sick of this shit. Just die. As awesome as the flamethrower is on swarms, the fragments, on the other hand, are a different story. The minute you hit their belly, the swarm will instantly come out, making you waste more ammo for your flamethrower. You can dance if you want to, you can leave the swarm behind, but if you don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're gonna eat your bones. All the cons aside, the flamethrower has one huge advantage: taking down big, bad guys. The great thing about the flamethrower on big guys is that it triggers all their weak spots once they're lit on fire. The brute, as you see here, doesn't take much to take down, only about 2 cans to the face and a few puffs. And what about those dancing ballerina sisters in space, you say? What about them? So we've all seen the potential of the flamethrower when it's unupgraded. So let's see what it does when it is upgraded. But first and foremost, look how huge the tree is. This requires tons of money and nodes just to get started on it. Once you do take the time to upgrade it and get it all the way fully charged, you're rewarded with this cool, neatish looking blue flame. Keep in mind, it still doesn't save you from getting owned by exploders though. Expanding on that, it still doesn't work that great against those enemies that you'd loathe with the regular flamethrower. If it makes your life easier, the flamethrower now has a greater duration, which means it will do more damage and will last longer on them. For instance, you can just light an enemy up now and then run away like a little girl. Back to stalkers though, it's still not recommended and you look like a jackass even more. Spending the actual time and money, and not to mention nodes, on the flamethrower isn't all that bad actually. It does a pretty fairly good job when you're going against necromorphs. Ballerina sisters still get dramatically owned by it. Three-legged humanoid necromorphs don't even have a chance against this thing. You just light them up and then just dance around. Dividers are fairly easy to take down. You only have to use one gas tank to get them on their knees. However, after they actually divide into the pieces, you'll have to burn all of them again. Because if you don't, then this will happen. So what's the final verdict on the flamethrower, you say, huh? Well, it has plenty of ammunition, does pretty well against one-on-one, it absolutely rapes the big guys. I think it warrants a buy it. By itself, the flamethrower is actually a huge step up from Dead Space 1, and not to mention it seems to be a little bit more versatile than before. With just the right amount of practice and time, this gun can be used as a primary throughout the whole game. Also, it's pretty badass to save yourself by using fire.
Like a mouse!
What it means, the fact that we have flamethrowers means that at some point somebody said to himself, gee, I sure like to set those people on fire over there. But I'm just not close enough to get the job done. If only I had something that would throw the flame on them. Well, it might have ended right there, but he happened to mention it to his friend. His friend who was good with tools. And a month later he came back, hey, quite a concept.